What's a good season look like for the USC Trojans? I think you talk about win total. I also think you talk about how that season looks. We'll do both of those right now. Before we do that, though, USC fans, come on now. Join the party. Best way to join the party, best way to be as dialed in as possible to the 2025 college football season, to your USC Trojans, into everything we have going on here on this show, The Hard Count, is by subscribing to the On the YouTube channel. So we appreciate y'all for getting locked in. This year, to me, is all about proving and solidifying and verifying that the arrow is pointing up in Los Angeles. Because it's felt that way since the end of last year. The recruiting class is on a tear under Chad Bowden. You got the defense taking a step in the proper direction. You won the bowl game. It's felt like there's a touch of momentum behind USC, but you need to verify that this year. You need to prove to me, to the rest of the college football public, heck, to yourselves, that this is actually going somewhere. So what I mean by that is, don't have a conversation now where you have to take a deep breath a couple times and spend 5 minutes telling me how close you were. Hey, we were in the fourth quarter. Every single loss, we had tied except for the game against Notre Dame where we were driving to go tie. Like, don't have a stat like that where it takes a ton of extra explanations as to why you were where you were and how you finished last season. I don't love it last year. I can do it 1 year in a row. I can't do it for multiple years at a time. I can't do it back-to-back seasons where we have to, again, explain ourselves for the entirety of the offseason as to why we can expect good things here in the 2025 season. All right. Again, one offseason, okay. 2 offseasons, not a fan of it. From an optics perspective, I need the advertising to match the product. Because what's the advertisement for USC right now? When you hired Lincoln Riley, the advertisement was good quarterback play, good offense. Switched quarterbacks last year. Offense wasn't Lincoln Riley brand. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't Lincoln Riley brand. It wasn't timely. Defense, what's the advertisement right now? Taking a step forward. Danton Lynn shows up right away. You're better on defense. Do you continue to elevate? Do you build on last year and prove that last year wasn't just one good season? I need the advertising of what USC football is going to be in 2025 to match the product. Like Jaden Maiava, I'd like to see him be an all Big Ten caliber quarterback, or at least play like it in the big games. Like, that's what it needs to look like to me. So a playoff berth this year would not be crazy. If you think it is crazy, I would remind you that SMU and Indiana both made the college football playoff last year, and I think we would have all called you crazy if you predicted them a season ago. Just my own 2 cents. But to me, this year is, I think, still fair to categorize as a setup year, because you popped the first year for Lincoln Riley and it had 10 wins and made a New Year's Six Bowl and all that. But I think the last 2 years have verified and proven that this is still a work in progress, and there's still things that are being done behind closed doors to get USC back to college football prominence. So my big thing with 2025 is, like, if we make the playoffs, awesome, but I need there to be a setup year to where we have that 2026 recruiting class still intact. And I'm not saying it has to stay number one in the country, wire to wire, and sign the number one class on National Signing Day. I'm not saying that, but I am saying, like, we can't fall out of the top 10 because we put a subpar product on the field and we're all wondering what's going on with Lincoln Riley and USC over the course of the next offseason. Like, I don't want question marks. I want momentum. I want true momentum, not momentum you have to talk yourself into. So what that looks like to me from a wins and losses perspective, go steal some market share in the Big Ten. Go steal some market share, because you have 5 games that I would say you are on par with these teams from a talent perspective: at Illinois, Michigan, at Nebraska, Iowa, at Oregon. Now, obviously, Oregon is the more talented roster there in that specific game because of how they've recruited. But, like, give me a winning record in those games. Go 3-2 in those games. Then you throw in the Notre Dame game, see what happens there. But, like, give me a winning record in those games. I think the number that I would like to see USC at to qualify as a good season, as a season that would be a success, 9-3. Now, again, if you get to 10, you're in the college football playoff. Vibes are immaculate. The arrow is definitely pointing up. The recruiting class absolutely stays intact. Jaden Maiava probably had a phenomenal season. Everyone's talking about how great a coach Lincoln Riley is and how they adapted. All that is well and good. But if you go 9-3, think about what you're saying. And what, again, I have deemed as a setup year, which isn't a rebuild year, but a setup year to where in 2026, the college football playoff is not just like a dream. Because dreams, everyone wants to accomplish those, and you talk about them and you visualize them. It becomes a legitimate goal. You're 1 win away from the college football playoff in 2025. 2026, the playoff's a goal. Also, it would prove that there is a legitimate improvement for USC. Because I think if you chop off what that first year was for USC, it's been evident. There's, again, some things that you're trying to get right. You win 9 games, you've gotten those things right, and you're at a spot where you can go win at the highest level, okay? It also, quite frankly, shows you belong in the Big Ten. Because I know people like to point to the record and talk about, not finishing games and talk about the physicality of the Big Ten, and that's all warranted. Like, it's all fair because it actually happened in the context of the 2024 season. But, like, in 2025, I would love to see those thoughts be put to rest and just say, okay, you got to deal with USC. You got to deal with USC. And I think teams that actually, like, turn on the film and prepare for USC and watch what they are understand you do have to deal with USC. But on a more in-your-face level, you understand USC is someone you have to bring your best against every single week. Otherwise, you can and will get got. And not just a thing that, within the building, but, like, it's a legitimate discussion when you turn on College Game Day on a Saturday morning and, Kirk Herbstreit's at the desk or Desmond Howard's at the desk saying, yeah, we got to go to USC today. Or, hey, USC's coming to town. You got to bring it. I need that energy back for USC. So 9-3 is what I would deem as a good year. Playoff, not unrealistic, not the wildest thought in the world. I don't see that happening this season, but with that being said, a good year is 9-3 and would set up a 2026 year where college football playoff is a goal, and I'll go so far as to say an expectation for Lincoln Riley going into another year in Los Angeles, and again, proves they are going somewhere. All right, so Caden Smith on the 1s and 2s, myself, Judy PicKell. Let me know on the socials, Instagram, Twitter. Follow me there, at Judy PicKell. What's a good record for USC? Looking forward to hearing from y'all there. We will keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time.